Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. I'm Melanie and I do a variety of different videos, from my most popular and the most amount of videos on my channel are bi-weekly videos, which I do Mondays and Thursdays, and Tuesdays and Sundays I do other content videos, whether it is concert videos like I did about 10, maybe more, during July, August, September, I think even October. I do beauty unboxings of beauty boxes. I unbox things like Sauce Box and try the products and review them. I've done Boots own brand hauls and Superdrug own brand hauls and challenges. This video is kind of in relation to the concerts that I went to over the summer. I just wanted to do like a recap type of video. It's nothing special, it's not a special video, there's no special setup. I'm literally sat in a room, the sun's going down, it's getting quite dark outside, like the lighting is not great. I've got that light on behind me, but obviously it's not going to do me any favours from behind. So I went to see 3 concerts in June. I went to see the Rolling Stones, Billy Joel and the Hollywood Vampires. The last concert I went to before this year was Elton John. The videos are on this channel if you want to check them out. And I hadn't planned on going to any concerts at all. I knew Billy Joel was going to tour and I knew I was going to go. That's all I knew. I didn't have tickets or anything like that. I just knew I was going to go because I love Billy Joel. So I found out there was Rolling Stones tickets on sale about 3.5 weeks before the concert, and there basically wasn't any left, and I kept checking Ticketmaster and then some were released and I bought them for my dad as part of his Father's Day present. I didn't particularly want to go to the concert. I'm not a massive Rolling Stones fan. I know some of the songs, like everyone knows at least one Rolling Stones song because the songs have been around, they've been used in films, they've been used on adverts, they've been used, like you will know some. And my favourite song was Jumping Jack Flash because one of my favourite films is Jumping Jack Flash, pure and simple. So I bought the tickets with no intention of going, but my dad wanted me to go basically because he wanted a taxi service. It wasn't because he wanted to go with me. He just knew none of his friends would want to drive because they would want to drink, and he didn't want to drive because he wanted to drink and he didn't want to pay £40–50 for a taxi each way. So he basically asked me to go. I have severe anxiety and depression, and my anxiety was really bad at that time. It's actually gotten worse, but it was really bad. I didn't want to go. I was going through a very difficult time and I really wanted him to go with someone else other than me, and I was in a really bad headspace in the days leading up to it, but I ended up having to go. Didn't want to go, didn't like being there, and I struggled afterwards, like the way it made me feel. So I mean, I've been to see them. I wouldn't go to see them again unless someone gave me a ticket and I wasn't anxious and I was going with people other than my dad. I would go if it was a nice day and it was just like a day out and I wasn't the one who was having to drive. Like, I would prefer to go in a taxi or something or stay overnight. It was a good concert. Like, it was packed. It was literally packed, but it wasn't my favourite concert and it wasn't my worst concert, but I wouldn't personally rush out to get them. I've seen them. I can now say I've seen the Rolling Stones live, and that's about it really. Then it was Billy Joel. So I literally bought the tickets on the Tuesday and the concert was on the Saturday. I was umming and ahhing over the tickets because there was some left in Block B. So there's Block A, Block B, Block C, Block D on the floor, and there was some really far back in Block B, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should get them. Like, I might wait to see if anything becomes released, and then I'm like, what's if nothing gets released, and what as if I miss out on those? Like, I just didn't know what to do, like, and I was in 2 minds whether to buy them or not. And then I woke up on the Tuesday before the Saturday and they released some tickets in Block A, in A2, A3, A4, A5, A6. I wanted A5 because that's basically where he sits at the piano, and they were on Ticketmaster, and no matter how many times I tried to get them, I couldn't get them. It kept saying they were there, they were available, but they just weren't going through, and I was trying for hours and hours and hours. I'm like, why are they not going through? why are they disappearing? And then they're saying they're still available. I don't know what's going on. So I went on to Billy Joel's timeline on Twitter, and I was like searching through mentions, and then I saw a ticket seller company called C Tickets, SEE Tickets. Never heard of them before, and then I saw they had tickets in, I think it was A2 that we ended up with, 13th row. And before I bought them, I did some research on the company. I googled them, read about them, and found out they're a real company. They weren't a scam company. I mean, they had a lot of followers on Twitter to be a scam company, but I thought you never know these days. So I bought them, and I was relieved that I got them. And I would have preferred the A5 tickets or A6, but I was happy just to get them. I was like, I've got them, I can go see him. I was listening to Billy Joel music for weeks and weeks and weeks leading up to it. Like, there's bi-weekly vlogs where I think I'm sat, like, I'm talking to camera, and then I say something about the police, and then it cuts to me sat in the car and it's playing Billy Joel. I was listening to him for weeks, and I was panicking, like, when I didn't have the tickets, and I was like, oh God. And the day of the concert was like a bit of a pain, to be honest. I was in the sun for a good hour, and I get sunstroke if I'm in the sun for longer than 25 minutes. So by the time I got inside an hour and a half later, because it took an hour to get to the tickets, and then you had to go through a load of security checks, so it was well over like an hour and 20, an hour and a half in the sun. And I struggled with the sun, and we got inside, and I didn't feel well, and I'm drinking bottle after bottle of water, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to stop drinking the water, or else I'm gonna have to keep going to the toilet. And I basically don't want to leave my seat to go to the toilet, because it's hard to go to the toilet from floor seating. It's not advised in outdoor, by the way. I wouldn't advise it. So I stopped drinking, and I went to the toilet quite a lot, and then we went and found our seats. And what had happened was, when they put the tickets up for sale, they basically based the stage on the normal stage size they have. So Billy Joel's stage was much bigger than the stage that they normally have, so they had to move everything forward. So there were people who had side seats close to the stage, basically couldn't see anything, because the stage was so big it had to be put slightly forward than it normally is. So a lot of people did complain, but they were cheap seats anyway. They've got nothing to complain about. And to be honest, you don't even need to see him. Like, I didn't really see him. I was filming the majority of the time. I didn't see him. Like, you don't need to. But also, because everyone was moved forward, the seats on the floor were moved closer together. So basically, when you sat down, you basically couldn't sit down comfortably. Your knees were in the back of the chair in front. If anyone tries to get past you, if you stood up, you weren't stood out of the way enough for them to get past, so they're pushing against you. And then all the chairs were cable tied together, so you like sat scrunched up on your chair. And I was sat next to this bloke who was basically sat on half of my chair, and he didn't give a shit that he'd sat on half of my chair. He did not care that I was like perched in a little corner of my chair. Like, I'd paid the same price as him, yet he had half of my seat, which I think's unfair. And then I stood up for the entire concert. I filmed a lot. Like, you saw all the videos if you watched my videos. I'm linking 5 different things throughout this video, because I no longer had the footage because my phone broke, and the footage is on my phone. But luckily, I got the majority of it up here. I didn't get all the individual videos up, unfortunately. But throughout the video, I'm linking, I can only link 5 videos on screen, so you'll see them pop up on screen. I think it is that side throughout this video. So the majority will be Billy Joel, basically. And even though it looked like I filmed the whole concert, I didn't film it all. I really didn't film it all, surprisingly. The atmosphere was amazing. I loved every single song. There were times when we got options of what song he was going to sing. So he'd say, do you want me to sing this one or this one? And every option that I chose, everyone agreed with. I know that they didn't agree with me, but they wanted the same songs as me, and I got every song that I wanted. There's only a couple of songs that he didn't do that I would have liked him to do, but he was on stage for 2.5 hours, and I was so disappointed when he left. Like, I wanted to cry. Like, I literally could have stood there for another 2.5 hours, even putting up with them next to me, because he was with his girlfriend. And then all of a sudden, they decided that he would stand behind her and she would stand in front of him. and they were swaying side to side. So basically they were constantly banging into me, which was really annoying. And another thing that really annoyed me was when I was trying to film across to the stage, there was this guy, you would have seen his head in a lot of my videos, with a perm with blonde tips on the end. He kept standing in my way. He was clearly bored. He kept talking to everyone. He wasn't really in it. Like, I don't know why he was there other than to obstruct my videos. So that's why I spent a lot of the time filming the big screen, because every time I tried to film across to the stage, he was stood in my way, and his head kept bobbing up and down because he kept talking to people. I loved it. Like, if I could go and see Billy Joel every week, I literally would. Like, if I lived in New York, I would see him every month, because he does Madison Square Garden once a month. And I would go every month because it's amazing. Like, he's the ultimate showman, and this is unfortunate because what is happening is all these ultimate showmans and show women, they're all getting old and they're all dying, and, you know, Billy Joel's 69. He's not going to be around forever. So all these people that I absolutely love and are ultimate performers who can get crowds going, like, he didn't have an opening act because he doesn't need an opening act. Neil Diamond never has an opening act because he doesn't need an opening act. Like, they don't need opening acts because they're so amazing at what they do. They can come on stage and you just enthralled straight away. And, you know, people, the generations that are around now, they need opening acts because, you know, they don't have the charisma, they don't have the stage presence, they don't have these years and years and years and years of experience, which is a shame. And it was just an amazing concert. Like, my arms killed me the next day. Like, I woke up the next day, I hadn't had much sleep, and I ached all over. I was like, oh no, because I had Hollywood Vampire tickets for the next day, and I woke up and I felt really aching. I'm tired, and I'm like, I've got to do it again tonight. I know it's funny now saying it, but that's literally how I felt. So 10 out of 10. Like, I'd give it 100 out of 10, to be honest. It was fantastic. Like, he's the third time I've seen him. Yeah, the third time. Like, I missed him 2 years ago because I was meant to go with someone who basically let me down and thought it was funny, but whatever. They were very nasty people. So yeah, I wish I could go and see him right now. Like, it was in Ireland the week after, and I was like, if I could have afforded to fly to Ireland, if I had a passport as well, because my passport ran out, I would have gone. Do you need a passport to go to Ireland? Is that a stupid question? Probably is. So then I ended up with Hollywood Vampire tickets. I bought them on the Friday, the day before the Billy Joel concert, and 2 days before the Hollywood Vampires concert. I follow Alice Cooper on Twitter, and he posted something about tickets being available for Sunday for Hollywood Vampires, and I'm like, what? You in the UK? There's tickets available? How much are they? Because I thought, oh god, they're going to be more expensive than Billy Joel, because Billy Joel was like 120, 130 pounds each, I think. I know they're like 230 pounds or something like that for Billy Joel, so I was like, and Rolling Stones were 100 pounds each, so I was like, oh god, how much are Hollywood Vampires? Because it's Alice Cooper, it's Joe Perry from Aerosmith, and it's Johnny Depp. So I thought, oh god, they're going to be really stupid. So I went on and surprised to find there was 3rd row tickets and 7th row tickets. And I didn't go for the 3rd row tickets because they're at the front to the right, and Johnny Depp stands on the left of the stage. As pathetic as it sounds, I wanted to be near Johnny Depp. So I was like, I'll get the 7th row. The near the centre aisle, the like seats 3 and 4, get them, got them. Told my dad like 3 hours before, and got ready. I'd fake tanned anyway. Did I do it Friday or Saturday? I probably did it Friday because Saturday I went and had a blow dry. Because I had a blow dry Saturday morning, and I was like, oh god, it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain. Oh, and also when I left the hairdressers, I was running late because she's always running behind, which is a pain if you've got to be somewhere. And I'm thinking, oh god, I've got to get home. I've got to like tell my dad before he goes out. He might go out. What if he goes out? Because he goes out Saturday, he goes to football, but football weren't on at the time. But he still goes out on a Saturday all day. So I'm like, I've got to get home in case he goes out. So I'm going up towards the motorway, and the traffic's backed up on the slip road, and I'm like, what's going on? Why is the motorway really busy? then I was probably about 10 cars from the top, and we were stuck, and I'm like, and we're there ages, and I'm like, what's going on? Then I found out that someone was threatening to jump off the bridge, basically. And I was like, out of all the days you could have chosen, like, why couldn't you have waited 10 minutes? I know that sounds really selfish, but, you know, if you want to jump, just jump. No, I didn't want them to jump. I'd rather have missed a concert and then be okay. I was like, to get yourself in that state where you're threatening to jump, there must be something seriously wrong. But I was just like panicking because I thought I'm going to have to ring my dad up and tell him about the concert, because I'm sat here, I can't get home, he's never going to know, kind of thing. But I got home and I'd wrote him this letter, and I'd filled it full of Billy Joel songs. So it was kind of like, I can't remember what I wrote, but it was just a story involving Billy Joel songs, basically. And then we went, yeah. And then obviously the Sunday, I was knackered. I was so knackered. I gave myself about an hour and a half to get ready, and you'll have seen the videos, but I'll probably link one above now, up there. I hope it's up there and not up there, because I look like an idiot, but I do think it's that side. And yeah, oh, well, there was drama. Like, I went to this concert, right, and most people go on stage 8, 8:30. They went on at 9:30. So we got there, and the first opening act were on, and it was really quiet, so I presume everyone was watching them. And it was just a load of noise, to be honest. I feel like I'm old saying stuff like this, but it was just a load of noise. And everyone came out, and then I realised that a lot of people got in to watch it, because a lot of the time people, probably about a third of people will watch the opening acts. Like, I don't. Like, it's very rare for me to watch an opening act. Years ago, I watched Nickelback open for Bon Jovi. I think that's the only time I've actually watched an opening act. From memory, I think that is literally it. So, The Darkness were the second opening act. And I was tempted, but there was only one song that I like. I Believe in a Thing Called Love. I did actually film some of that. Unfortunately, it's on that phone that doesn't work anymore, and that's gone to the phone Heaven in the Sky, aka the dustbin. And yeah, I was tempted to go to my seats, and I was just like, do you know what? No, I can't be bothered. And I was really tired, you know. I was like, I would have preferred to go home and go to bed. And then about half an hour before the show, we went in. Went to our seats, and there was coats on our seats. Do you know, like when you leave your coats so no one, or your bags so no one will take your seats? Someone had basically claimed our seats because we had not gone in. So I went to sit down. You can't sit there, they're not your seats. I'm like, yeah, they are my seats. I've got my tickets here. Row 7, seats 3 and 4. They're like, well, you must be in the wrong block. I went, no, I'm in the right block, and I showed them the ticket. They're like, well, you can't sit here, someone's been sat here for the last 3 hours. And I went, well, that's impossible, because the doors only opened an hour and a half ago. And they're like, well, 2 people have been sat here, you can't sit here, these are not your seats. I'm like, these are my seats. So I went to the steward, and I'm like, they won't let me sit in my seats, they're saying that someone's sitting in there, can you tell me, are these the right seats? And she's like, yeah, you've got the right tickets. If someone sat there, they shouldn't be sat there. And I'm like, well, I was thinking that, but the people who sat on seat 5 and 6 won't let me sit down. They're like, well, go and sit down, and if they stop you, I'll come down. So I was walking down, and I went to sit in them, and this woman, she was really, really nasty. She was sat in seat 5, because I thought, I'm not sitting in seat 4. I had 3 and 4, so I was going to sit in 3. She started screaming at me. She's like, you can't sit here, this is someone's seat. And I'm like, they are my seats. And then this male steward came. He's like, these are their seats. And she's like, well, people have been sat here for 3 hours. He's like, well, they shouldn't have been sat there, because these seats belong to these have got the tickets. So she was really nasty about it. She's like, you're out of order, you shouldn't be sitting here, someone's been sat here this whole time. I'm like, they've been sat in my seat. She went, well, you shouldn't be having them, because you couldn't be bothered coming to the opening acts. I said, I didn't buy tickets to see the opening acts. I came to see the act that I came to see, and I'm sitting in my seat. So my dad sat next to her, she's mouthing off at me, and then all of a sudden this woman who was probably in her 60s but was trying to dress like she was in her 20s, and this other female who I presume was a daughter who looked like she's in her late 30s but she's trying to dress like she's in her early 20s as well, came back and she's like, get the F out of my seat now. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but this isn't your seat. We've just talked to the stewards. These are our seats. Well, we've been sat there for the last 3 hours. So she was copying what she'd said in seat 5. So obviously they'd come up with a plan to say this, because they were saying what each other was saying word for word. And I'm like, well, I've paid for these seats. I'm sitting in my seat. She's like, well, we've been sat there, you're not sitting there, they're our seats. I'm like, they're not our seats. And then she started throwing her tickets at me. And I'm like, it says you're in seat 10 and 11. No, we're not, we're in seats, those seats there. I'm like, you're not? She's like, well, where was our coats? You've stolen our coats. And when we'd come back to the seats the second time, after we'd gone to the steward, the people behind had took the coats and the bags. And I went, I ain't got them. You've stolen our coats and bags. I went, I haven't got them. And then the people behind said, no, we've got them, and passed them to them. And they're like, get the F out of our seats now. And I'm like, they're not your seats. Yes, they are, because we've been sat in them for 3 hours. I went, you haven't been sat in them for 3 hours, and even if you had, they're our seats. You're not sitting in them. She's like, we're going to go and get security. So my dad went, good, which shocked me. So I'm there really shaking. Like, I was really shaking. Like, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to come back. They're going to kick off. I don't need this. And I said to the guy next to me, I went, are you definitely seats 1 and 2? Because, you know, I've just had to stand my ground with them. And he's like, no, we're definitely seats 1 and 2. Like, you know, he said, they organised this. I said, I got that impression. He said, it was all arranged what was to be said. I said, I know, they've just said identical stuff. I said, they're not having my seats, I paid for them. So then they come back with a bottle of wine each. They were already paralytic by this point. And they came back with the steward who'd come with us, like, the second time. And he's like, your seats are at the end. You can't sit in these seats. And they're like, well, we've been here for 3 hours. He went, they're not your seats, you can't have them. So she looked and she's like, well, someone's in our seats. He went, well, I'll go around and ask them to move then. So the daughter came through and she's like, I'm sorry, but she didn't, like, make eye contact. And then the mother came and she stood in front of me and she went, you're effing out of order. We've been sat there for 3 hours, you're out of order taking those seats. I went, we've paid for them. Your seats are down there. She's like, I don't care, you're out of order. And I thought she was going to throw a wine at me. And I thought, if she throws a wine at me, I'm going to leave, because it's just going to ruin my night. And she just was mouthing off at me. I said, do you know what? Shut up. I've had enough of this now. I've been polite. I've come to my seat and I've had shit off you and I've had shit off your friend. I'm not having it. Sit down. And she went like that. And I went, I'm not having it anymore. The steward's told you, leave me alone. It's my seat. I've paid for it. And she stormed off. Me. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to stand up for myself like that. Like, I was being nice about it. And she came and gave me abuse because I've took my own seat. Oh, I'm so sorry for actually having my own seat that I've paid money for. You know, I've had this problem before, but they've never gone to that length. Like, I've gone to get my seat and people have been sat in it and they've not wanted to move. And I'll be like, you know, that's my seat. And there's only once where I've had to go and get someone, because most of the time they'll just give up. Like, you've got your seat, you've paid for it, then take it. Like, I'd understand if it was like half an hour into the concert and that person hadn't come and sat in the seat, then yeah, maybe take it. But to sit in it the whole time knowing that it isn't your seat is just out of order. So I was sat there shaking and her in seat 5 was still mouthing off, and I was just like totally black. Like, I wouldn't even look at her, but I could hear her, and I'm like, just because I came and had my own seat, like, you can't, like, I bet if someone had took her seat, it'd be a totally different story. She just kept mouthing off, and her husband tried to quieten her down a couple of times, but, so eventually they came on stage, and I loved it. Like, I loved every second of it. Like, I didn't know the songs, I'll be honest. I knew a couple, like, I knew some of the songs that they covered, and some of the own songs that they did, they were repetitive, so it was easy to get into them. I absolutely loved it, and the hour and a half just flew by, and I didn't film it all. Like, literally what you saw in the 2 videos is literally all I filmed. I didn't film anything else, but I loved it. I left on such a high, and then I had to get off the car park, which took 5,000 years. But when I got home that night and I filmed like a video, intro or outro, whatever I did, and I said I felt content, I did. I felt so content for the first time in the longest time. Like, I really, really loved that concert. Like, Alice Cooper is the ultimate showman. Joe Perry is an amazing guitarist, and Johnny Depp is like, I didn't even show you what he was doing on guitar when he was doing the solos, when he was doing his solos, because I was just having such an amazing time, and I would go and see them again tomorrow if I could as well. Hopefully I wouldn't have to like fight for my seats, but yeah, I loved them. Like, I wouldn't see the Rolling Stones again. I would see like the Hollywood Vampires, and I would definitely see Billy Joel. Like, I would love to see him every month at Madison Square Garden. Like, if I could afford to do that, I would. It was amazing. He's fantastic. Yeah, so they were my concert videos. I've got no concert plans. Like, I don't even know who's touring. Like, but yeah, hopefully I'll get to go to some concerts next year. Hopefully Bon Jovi, please Bon Jovi. I've got a feeling Rich Sambora is going to go back, so I would definitely be going. And if you have any questions about any of these concerts, then please feel free to leave them in the comments section, and I'll answer in the comments section. I do not answer away from here, so people who are trying to get me to talk away from here, I will not do that. I've said that in several videos now, so obviously the person who keeps asking me to email them has no respect for me and he's harassing me, and I want it to stop. But I'll happily answer any questions that are left openly in the comments section. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe and click the bell notification button, then you'll get an alert every time I upload a similar video. And I'll be back very soon with another video. Thank you for watching, everyone.